Hey DIY, Jonah here, and today we're going to be taking a look at all the websites that I love to buy my 350Z mods and parts from. So without further ado, let's just jump into it and let's talk about the first website, which is Z1 Motorsports. Okay, so for the first website we're going to be talking about, it's going to be Z1 Motorsports. Now, by far, this is going to be your most popular website when it comes to finding aftermarket items and name brand items and just even in-house Z1 items they make specifically for their brand. So they have a lot of options for every single car, which is one thing that I like about it. Not only do they have like the Z line that you have to choose from, you also have the GTR lineup and even some 240 options. And even if you just want some, more standard parts for their standard lineup, their non-sports car lineup, they also have those here. So it's pretty much like the all-around best place to go to when it comes to finding a part, whether it's OEM or aftermarket, for any Nissan car that's more in the modern era. One of the cool things about Z1 is that they do a lot of their own Z1 products that are actually pretty good. They have brakes, they have suspension, transmission, flywheels, and all that stuff. They'll do engine mods like motor mounts, transmission mounts. It's just cool because based on the size of their brand, they're able to do these really cool and specific mods to the Z platform that most other brands and manufacturers can't do because they're not as large. From my flywheel to my suspension setup, my air intake, plenum spacer, throttle body, I've pretty much bought almost everything from Z1 Motorsports, so it's a good website. They have really good shipping times, and they're someone you can trust. For the next website, we're going to be talking about Concept Z Performance. Now, this is another one like Z1 where they're going to have a lot of aftermarket support for the Z cars, G cars, Qs, S chassis, all that cool stuff. They pretty much do it all from Nissan. They do offer pretty much everything you need for modding your Z as well. And like Z1, they do a lot of OEM parts too. I've bought a handful of parts that are specifically from Nissan from this website, and I've also done a couple of their own in-house parts as well. Like for instance, I bought this premium powder-coated aluminum valve cover set. I haven't installed it yet, but I do have it, and the quality seems pretty good on it. It's just a nice thing to see brands like this making their own parts and adding to the aftermarket support for these cars. So that's one thing I like about Concept Z. Only downside I've had to Concept Z before, which it may have just been a shipping error, but I did order something a long time ago and it took quite a while to come in, whereas with Z1, their shipping's a little more reliable and a bit quicker. But just one thing to keep an eye out for Concept Z. Overall though, they have pretty good prices and they have some pretty good deals on pretty much everything Z related. For the third website we're going to be talking about, it's going to be Evasive Motorsports. Specifically for Evasive, they do more than just Z parts. This is one of the websites where they're just more universal. They're going to have a lot of options for the Z. For instance, I bought my PCI seat bracket from this place, and you can also buy seats, wheels, other things that are more universal but also support the Z platform. So unlike CZP and Z1, they're just websites just a little more universal. But what I like about Evasive Motorsports is that they have a pretty much everything you could possibly want for your Z in here still, even though they do all of the other options for cars and mods on those platforms as well. So there's still tons and tons of options on this website. You just kind of have to look through their catalog and find out what they have available for the Z. Overall, though, I had a pretty good experience with them. Shipping didn't take too long. Their customer service isn't bad. And again, you can find some pretty unique and specific parts that you may not find on other websites. So definitely keep an eye out for Evasive Motorsports if you're looking to buy some parts. And yeah, we'll go to number 4. Okay, website number 4 is going to be Enjuku Racing. Now, this website has a handful of parts as well for the Z. They don't really make anything in-house. They have a handful of other name brand parts that are pretty reliable you can choose from. Like they even have BC coilovers, which is what I run, Mishimoto radiators. So they have a pretty good catalog of parts from name brand companies that are pretty reliable. And although I haven't really bought anything specifically from Enjuku Racing for the Z, I did buy my first set of wheels from them, which was specifically made for the offset and width and size of my car. So I will say they were reliable in getting the wheels to me, and I'd never had any issues with them. So it's a brand that I'd recommend if you're looking to find a specific part that you may not be able to find on other websites. So keep an eye out for Enjuku. Okay, now we're going to be moving into the more JDM side of the modding platform for Zs. Now, the two websites that I recommend are going to be Nengun and Next Level Performance. These two websites are going to have more of your rarer and specific parts for the JDM side of the 350Z platform. You can find kits like the Garage Mat kit and more specifically parts that are harder to find on your traditional, based in the US market websites. Downside of these websites is, shipping costs are going to be more expensive, but the brighter side is, you can pretty much get almost all your authentic parts from these websites, which is very cool. And it's nice to see that these websites exist so you can find these pretty cool and rare parts. And yeah, you can see they have all kinds of really cool JDM parts like from Bride or Brid, Blitz, HKS, etc. It goes Nismo, very specific Nismo parts that are somewhat hard to find in the US. You can pretty much find everything here. So that's a really cool thing about this website. Just keep an eye out for shipping cost, and it's a good place to check out if you want some good deals on some JDM parts. Alrighty, for website number 4, we have Next Level Performance. Now, this website is really awesome because it has a ton of kit options and aftermarket support options for the Z that, again, is more JDM focused, parts that are harder to find, and parts that are usually, only located in Japan. This is one of the websites where you can order those pieces and get them imported, which is pretty awesome. One thing to note about these prices is they usually have shipping costs included. Like for instance, on the Garage Mat kit, shipping is free, but it does cost a little more out the gate. But yeah, you can see here, like they have the Garage Mat kit, which I'm a big fan of. They have the Charge Speed, they have MCR, pretty much have these awesome kits that you can't really find in the US available on this website, and they'll import it all for you. It just takes a while, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so those were pretty much all my favorite websites to buy Z parts from, new and specific parts. Now, if you wanted to, save some money and you wanted to find maybe some used parts or some just cheaper, easily accessible parts, you can go to eBay. eBay has, you gotta be careful with eBay because they have a lot of crappy parts. Like for instance, this Duraflex Nismo Rep Bumper, not a good example of a good part. You can choose from bad DE style headlights. Buyer beware on this website. They have some good parts, they have some pretty bad parts. Just check the reviews and make sure that you're buying a quality part. Again, if you're buying used from, a specific seller, you can find some pretty good deals. Like if you're a stance boy and you want some clear taillights, here's some for $450, not too bad. But yeah, eBay is always an option if you wanted to, find a couple OEM parts, maybe some used OEM parts. I know I've looked on eBay a couple times for used OEM parts, so you can find some diamonds in the rough if you do some, price hunting and some digging in this website. Just be careful because there's tons of, cheap little things that, you can get a pretty bad deal on. So just buyer beware. Okay, the last place I want to talk to you guys about is Facebook Marketplace. Downside of Facebook Marketplace is you have to deal with Facebook Marketplace people. That's probably the worst part about it. But overall, though, if if you're looking for some specific used OEM parts, you can find some really awesome deals on here. People that are just trying to let things go. You can find wheels, you can find used bumpers, used exhausts, all kinds of cool stuff. And I've used Facebook Marketplace a handful of times to sell things like that. So it does work. And again, you can find some good deals. You just have to wait for the right seller. I'll usually scour Facebook Marketplace every once in a while to see if there's any cool deals popping up. I know my friends do a lot of Facebook Marketplace searching, and you can save a ton of money finding some good deals used on these 350Z parts. So just do some digging, and if you want to save some money and you don't want to spend the JDM part price tax, you can find some pretty good deals on Facebook Marketplace if you just do some digging and you're a little patient. Well guys, that's going to wrap up the best places that I believe you should buy 350Z mods at. And if I missed any websites that you commonly use to buy Z mods at, let me know in the comments below what websites those are so other people can know as well. If you enjoy the Z content, leave a like down below and let me know what you'd like to see next. And thanks for watching till the end if you did, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.